As a part of Arutchelvar Dr. N. Mahalingam's birth centenary celebrations, Kumaraguru institutions conferred the Arutchelvar Dr. N. Mahalingam Award on Venu Srinivasan, the chairman of TVS Motor Company, for his unparalleled contributions to industry, R&D and social development on Monday. B.K. Krishnaraj Vanavarayar, chairman Kumaraguru institutions, presented the award. Vijay Mohan, the founder of Pricol Ltd, offered felicitations.
Mr. Venu Srinivasan ticks all the boxes as was enumerated earlier. He has excelled in many a business venture, in social responsibilities, in philanthropy and culture too. In addition, he has also contributed to forestation, water management and environmental protection. Before I elaborate on all these activities of Mr. Srinivasan, let me first delve on the subject of Deming Award. I'm sure a lot of you over here know what it is about, but it's my duty to explain that. The Deming Award was instituted by Japanese Union of Scientists and Engineers to honor Dr. Edward Deming, an American who in the early 1950s went to Japan and through statistical quality control methodology helped the Japanese industries to tremendously, to improve their quality and become world class. Therefore, to honor Dr. Deming, Japanese Union of Scientists and Engineers have instituted this award, not only to confer it on Japanese companies, but also good companies across the world. TQM, or Total Quality Management, has become a way of life for the Japanese companies, and they've become world leaders. Mr. Venu Srinivasan very early recognized the value of TQM, and he has pioneered this movement in India. Under his stewardship, Sundaram Clayton was the first company in India to be conferred this award. This was in 1998. Soon after, in 2002, TVS Motors was conferred the same Deming Award for TQM. And let me point out here that TVS Motors was the first vehicle manufacturer in India to get this award. You might ask, what is so great about TQM? I mean, you got to be in industry, students over here, the future of the country. The ramifications of TQM in a company is tremendous. It involves everyone in the organization to work in unison, not only to improve the quality of the products or services the company does, but at the same time reduce the cost too. One might wonder, how can you improve quality and reduce cost at the same time? With everyone in the company working in unison, mistakes are reduced, unnecessary work is avoided, and the time to accomplish a task is shortened. Thereby, the cost also reduces and the quality at the same time improves. In addition, continuous improvement, prevention of errors, value engineering, all these aspects in TQM becomes a way of life in companies who follow TQM. See the example of Mr. Venu Srinivasan, Many others in India followed suit and implemented TQM to become world class and help in enhancing valuable foreign exchange by cutting down on imports and also exporting. Early in his partnership with Suzuki Motorcycles of Japan, I'm glad Mr. Srinivasan realized that purely depending on a partner alone is no way to grow the business the way that we want, the way that India wants. He dissolved his partnership with Suzuki Motorcycles. Everyone was wondering whether this was a wise move, but time proved, yes, it was. The first thing after dissolving the partnership, Mr. Venu Srinivasan set up a very, very strong R&D group in TVS Motors to not only enable the company to be self-reliant, but also develop and bring out new models at a fast pace. This led the company to grow and become world-class, and a sizable portion of its production is now exported across the world. It is really commendable. It is worth mentioning here that his competitor Bajaj Auto also followed suit and set up a strong R&D and became self-reliant. Now, Chinese companies have flooded the Indian market with a lot of medical electronics, with a lot of mobile phones, other things, etc. But do you see a Chinese motorcycle manufacturer in India? No. Thanks to people like Venu and Vijay. This example of Mr. Venu Srinivasan and Mr. Rajiv Bajaj, pardon me for including Mr. Rajiv Bajaj over here, Venu. This accelerated the concept of setting up strong R&Ds in the Indian automotive ancillaries and to become self-reliant. And many of us have become world-class, including Mr. Ramaswamy and myself, if I may say so. We also have saved a lot of foreign exchange by seeing to that the vehicle manufacturers have no need to import sub-assemblies, and we also earn by exporting. For example, in Pricol, we spend 4% on sales income on R&D. That's quite a lot for an Indian company. Mr. Sanjay will vouch for that because he runs a world-class textile machinery manufacturing company, now doing successfully in aerospace field too. As was enumerated over here, Srinivasan Trust, initiated by him in his father's name, does tremendous work. They work tirelessly to uplift the rural population. The difference that this trust does with others is this: they don't just donate the money. They go and study the village, understand what is the need of the village. They also study the people in the village to understand what is their potential. Then they teach the villagers what to do to become self-reliant, also donate the seed money to set up a project over there, handhold them through the initial years until the project takes strong roots and grows, and over a period of time becomes self-reliant. Then they hand over the thing and walk on to the next village. This way, they aptly reinforce the parable. It is better to teach a man how to fish rather than give him a fish. How to make them self-reliant rather than always look for aid. One thing has not been mentioned. Mr. Srinivasan has repaired and renovated many a temple. They were all deteriorated, gone down. He has repaired and renovated them and see to that the people come there to offer their prayers. I'm sorry you did not mention this. As one of the field his companies have done tremendous work in afforestation and rainwater harvesting and water management. You've got to go to their factory, TVS factory in Hosur and also in Mysore. They have allotted 50 acres within the campus, not 5, 50 acres, both at Hosur and at the Mysore factory for rainwater harvesting farms and afforestation. It is literally a forest teeming with life, from birds to bees to reptiles to small animals. It's a haven. It indeed is an honor and privilege for me to be acquainted with Mr. Venu Srinivasan for quite some years. A relationship built through being a supplier to TVS Motors. And the relationship was further fostered with the way TVS group of companies treat their suppliers, treat them as equal partners. In fact, the relationship with the TVS family and my family goes through 4 generations. My maternal grandfather came out of the village and he was admitted to school in Venu. This was more than a century ago. As a youngster, he was studying over there. He wanted a special BSA bicycle, not available in Venu then. Then Mr. T.V. Sundaramayangar, the grandfather of Mr. Venu Srinivasan, was also having a BSA bicycle dealership. When my grandfather as a youngster approached Mr. Sundaramayangar and requested for this special bike, Mr. Sundaramayangar did not think of what this youngster was asking about. He imported the bike from UK and gave it to my grandfather. This is customer relationship. Many years later, after Pricol was established in 1974, in early 80s, when there was a recession in the automotive industry, we went through a cash flow problem. We had to invest in critical machinery for which we did not have enough of reserves within the company and approached the nationalized banks then for a loan. You did not have any of the private banks then. None of them came forward taking a look at the bottom line of Pricol's balance sheet then. My father knew Mr. Santanam, Mr. Venu Srinivasan's uncle or Perepa, and purely because of the relationship, Sundaram Finance, which Mr. Santanam headed, extended the loans, and that is how we could expand and be what we are today. I'm glad to say that Mr. Venu Srinivasan and I are third generation in each of the families. Under the able stewardship of his son, Sudarshan Venu, TVS Motors is reaching greater heights. And my son, heading Pricol Ltd now, I'm an old man of 75, I retired 10 years ago. And my son, heading Pricol Ltd, continues to have a good relationship with TVS Motors and be their preferred supplier in the products that we manufacture. Mr. Krishna Dvanvaraya, I thank you for giving me this opportunity to felicitate Mr. Venu Srinivasan. Thank you.